Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of your Impact Attack. Yes, it is your Impact Attack, the best Impact wrestling review show. Actually, it's the best wrestling review show that comes on 12 a.m., 12:30 a.m., 1 a.m. Tuesday morning. Anytime that we come on, if we come on like Mondays, we're the best wrestling review show on Monday. Take that, Rad Rob and El Barbo Maximo, if that is your real name. You whatever you are. Vet, did you see these things that they said about you? But by the way, guys, I am joined each and every week by the vet. Sorry, vet. Get in here. Let me know if you saw those despicable things that Rad Rob said about you.
Yeah, I saw them and I considered responding, but then I didn't, as you obviously
King knows
saw.
that.
Of course, my response just would have been, how do I unfollow this conversation? But I just figured the best way to do it is to just say nothing. Yeah, that's my social media MO.
There you. Look. Rad Rob is starting something that he does not want to start. Vet. So drawing the line in the sand. You're not allowed to do any more RTW rewinds with the things that he said about this show, Vet. The things about these guys said about this show. Would be very disappointed if you cross that picket line.
Well, Rob claims to be radicalized, but he sings a different tune whenever I'm actually in the room. It seems like so. You know,
Can you trust those types of people? I mean,
do,
he's a turtle man. Can
do
you
I
really trust turtle men?
do I need to trust him?
Just saying. What's he gonna do when he gets you in a corner and he puts his shell all on you?
Well, it's virtual still. Like we're not really in the
No, it's
same
not.
room.
You feel this when I do this to you.
I really don't.
Yes, you do. Stop lying.
Ray might. I don't.
Stop no selling everything.
I feel
Look,
it in my soul.
So,
look. There's the third man in the booth each and every week. Brandon's high on crypto and pot stocks this week. Brandon, tell everybody how this is going.
It is going pretty good. Had watched a pretty decent episode of Impact today, and yeah, whoop whoop.
We get right on that. We got to send Rad Rob the why are you gay? Why are you gay? You're a gay.
you notice Candace Space and I said I replayed last week's Impact and the vet was right. I don't need to read any more than that. That says it all right there. He says other stuff, but it's not really that important. So fellas, Colin, did you watch UFC 260? Whatever it was, I lost count.
I did. I did 268.
Even though you don't have your glasses, you saw it.
I saw every bit of it without my glasses.
Okay.
Is that it? You don't have anything?
Yeah. I
else
just
you
I just
wanna
want to know if
say?
you saw it. We can.
Yeah, I
move
saw it. Yeah, okay, let's move on.
on.
How
It
about
was a.
Colby Covington being the only man to really give Kamaru Usman a test so far? We're gonna see these guys again. There's gonna be a third fight.
You
There's definitely
know,
gonna be a third fight.
well, when I was the first thing that went through my mind as I was watching the early rounds is why is Usman giving this guy so much respect? He should just put him down and go home, right? And then as the fight went on, you saw like what he was respecting. I don't know why Covington waited to
Start
actually
wrestling.
fight
Oh
after
yeah,
the fight was no longer in reach. But you know, when these things are a work, sometimes that's how it goes. I'm not saying it was, but if it was, if it did, I guess we'll see.
what other fight would you be referencing that could possibly have been a work in the most recent couple months?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Or you don't want to say
But
it? You don't want to say it
but I
out
will.
loud?
Well, here's what I want to say out loud.
It's kind of like saying the c word. It might get you kicked off the show.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna say
Just
it.
appear in the
Well, it
void.
might get me kicked off of a Ray Hernandez show, but here it's a safe space. Do the thing again. Do the thing.
Oh yeah,
Again.
it is a safe space
Safe
here,
space,
guys. I'm
right.
touching each and every one of you here on
Right.
your impact attack. Yeah, enjoy that, guys. I don't know where it's going, my snowflakes, but it's going somewhere, guys. It's going somewhere.
Right. Just so everybody writing NXT knows, like they don't refer to themselves as snowflakes, so just you might want to add that into your your script there. But speaking of scripts, let's go back to the Fury and Wilder fight, where you
Don't
see
you mean
these.
Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington?
No. I wanted to say, because this is what I said to you when I first popped on the show and started watching it. Is, you see guys like Michael Chandler and
Justin Gaethje.
yeah, Justin Gaethje going out there throwing these punches with the intent to kill, and they're both standing there, taking it and continuing, even beckoning for more. Like, come on, you hit me with a clean shot. Okay, hit me with another clean shot. It looks like a Japanese wrestling match somewhat. And then you go back and watch the Tyson Fury fight, and you got these guys that are like, Tyson Fury is like sending my pillows through the mail to slowly, gently brush against Deontay Wilder, and he's hitting the canvas like he just got shot with a shotgun. Yeah, something's up. Something's up. That's all I can say.
There's going to be a trilogy. That's going to be a third fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was kind of a story. People not doing enough in the early rounds to win, I guess. The same thing happened with Wei Li. She actually had pretty good early rounds, and then Rose kind of didn't get dominated in the last 2 rounds, but yet I didn't really feel like she also did enough to really win the fight. But she was the one that was on top at the end, so that's how it looks. And that happens sometimes. So that was a good fight. That's the fight we deserved the first time.
So
probably.
if Pride Rules were still around after watching both of those fights, who would have won?
What is Pride Rules? What is Pride Rules?
Pride Rules.
What's the difference between Unified Rules?
Oh, so Pride Rules was there's a 10-minute first round, and then
okay.
5-minute rounds after that, right?
Right.
But their judging was not based on a 10-point scoring system. Usually, it was fighting spirit. So let's say I just beat the crap out of you in the first 5 minutes of that 10-minute round, right? And then all of a sudden, the first round ends. You did okay. You made it through, right? They're probably expecting you to like get beat up, right? Then the second round starts, and you just take over the fight, and you just dominate me from pillar to post that whole round. And the fight's over. They'll more than likely give it to you because you were winning the fight at the end of the fight. Than it kind of being like, oh, you won this round, you won that round, you won this round, you won that round based on scoring.
Right.
Fighting spirit usually.
Well, that's part of pro fight judging is, some of that stuff really factors into those points that they give, kind of a thing, I think. Or if somebody's supposed to win or not, even with the unified rules. But, yeah, I mean, who would have won the fight? I don't know. I would have just based on the way it went, I would have given the women a draw because neither one of them were able to really get the job done, but they showed some good stuff. So it was an entertaining fight. I definitely would have gave Usman the fight on points, but you could have also, like, if that had ended up a draw somehow, I don't think anybody really would have been upset either. But it just would have been
saying something about it could have been a draw.
It would have just been more fodder for the conspiracy theorists that this was just going to be a trilogy regardless, and they're just setting it up and ensuring that, because that wouldn't be a satisfying ending, and then people would want to see another one. They'll probably want to see another one anyway, even though.
No, they totally want to see another one. Look at what those guys did in that fight. I mean, besides the opening contest, I mean, the night ended on a very good note with that fight.
Right.
I mean, we started with a fight that, like, basically I sent in the group chat, the producer chat, a message like, how can anybody follow that? Like, they legit did every single spot that you could do in a wrestling show in that first opening match of Gaethje versus Chandler. Like, now you've seen everything. Like, you can go home now. Like, there's no point in watching the rest of this card. Like, how much more insane could this card be than what we saw in that first fight?
Apparently pretty insane. Yeah. But yeah, like that second fight was a really good fight, but not as big of names like the announcers were saying. and the crowd just they went mild. And apparently on the undercard there was like 5 knockouts. So
A
people
Fat Man did a spinning wheel kick knockout.
so you already had the people like they had already been hyped. It's hard to maintain that level, but I mean,
no, it's easy to maintain that level when everything's moving quickly. Now the UFC has pacing, so they will slow things down. I don't know if you've actually been to a show, but I went to UFC 245, Jones versus Evans, and some of the fights were going long. They weren't giving people walkouts, like they were fast forwarding people's walkouts through the pay-per-view because they were behind in time because almost all the fights were going the distance, and they ended up getting both the walkouts. They made sure to get like the main event walkouts, of course, but for a lot of the undercard, these guys were just rushing them straight out and going straight to the ring, and then announcing them while they were in the ring.
well, when I say it's hard to maintain that level, I'm talking about as a participant that's supposed to be yelling and screaming all night for 5 hours. You know what I mean? That's what I was referring to. But I mean, but for the main event, you also look at the face test. Like you look at how Usman looked like he just stepped out of the shower freshly, and then Colby Covington got battered repeatedly.
That's why the face test isn't in the unified rules of it. Some
Well,
guys scar differently, some guys cut differently. Nick Diaz beat most dudes' asses with terrible scar tissue and blood running down his face almost every time.
yeah, but if he got a finish, then
Yeah. But even if it went to the judges most of the time.
how do you why do you think it was so easy for Masvidal to get knocked the fuck out a couple of times? You think he's really that much less tough than Colby Covington?
Colby's got a better chin.
Are you just saying that because he just proved it, or did you already think that and everybody knew that? Everybody knows that Jorge Masvidal is Glass Joe, and
Well, I've watched Jorge Masvidal for like going on 10 plus years now, so I know the ups and downs that Jorge's had in his career, and known the fact that he blows big fights and has been a journeyman pretty much his whole career. So I'm not necessarily your normal layman that doesn't know anything about MMA. But
I didn't
really
say
answer that question. No, I know, but I'm just saying in general.
I didn't say you were, but I'm asking because I want the answer, not because I'm trying to, prove a point or anything. I'm just, but then again, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see a Masvidal versus Covington.
They're thinking about doing that for tough coaches.
Yeah, that'd be good. So, but anyways, yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the show. What else? What else do we got? Do you have any other comments on it?
No, not really. Other than the first fight, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, craziness that happened in that fight. That fight should have. I don't know. I don't see how it went to a decision.
Yeah, how does a human being stand after that?
Yeah, Chandler and Gaethje are two really crazy individuals, and it's kind of funny because Jake Gaethje, you wouldn't expect. Like, he rolls a lot with his punches, so it's like he fights drunken style almost. Like the way that he comes forward and he just kind of rolls with the punches, and he looks like he's getting smashed, but he's not really. He's just taking it. Now, there were some where he was taking some clean shots right down the middle, but for the most part, he was rolling with the punches. Oh my gosh, Vet, I think this is the first time for you and the Impact Attack this late at night. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy the Kid is live on the Impact Attack. Vet, this Billy the Kid, this is the vet Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid, this is Brandon, Billy the Kid.
Pleasure to meet you both. How you guys doing?
Great. I told Colin it was never going to happen. I kept telling Colin he's just not that into you. I kept telling Colin to stop getting his hopes up and read the signs. And now I have to apologize to everyone because I was wrong. The man is here.
What's going on? See, if so Colin just sends invitations, right? And then I check my email 3 weeks after the fact, and Like, oh, I'm sorry I missed this, bro. You know? So this time he actually sent me a text, and I happened to be up, so I'm like, why not? How you guys doing, man? It's a pleasure to be here, Colin. Thank you for having me, brother.
No, you're welcome. I'm enjoying the green screen that you got behind you. That's new. You got rid of the flat Earth map. You're not a flat
I got the
earther
flat Earth
anymore.
map over here. It's in front of me now. The green, and that's not even a green. My wife just painted this place green.
Well, that's perfect.
It's
then.
really
You have,
bad,
like,
actually. But
you have
it
a
is what
green
it is.
screen now. A free, yeah.
What's up, man? What's going on? What are you guys talking about?
Impact Wrestling. When was the last time you watched Impact Wrestling? BRV.
Wow, bro. I can't tell you. It's been a long time since I actually watched a full cover-to-cover Impact Wrestling event. Sometimes it comes on. What network are they even on now? I don't even know.
Axis, I believe.
On Access TV, right? So they used to come on right before New Japan or whatever for a bit, and that was cool because I had an incentive, right? I was waiting to watch New Japan, and then I would watch some of what was going on in Impact. And I still sometimes call it TNA, guys. Please forgive me, okay? But sometimes I watch, you know, like I like to watch Moose or something or whatever's going on. Half of the guys I don't even know their names anymore, you know, and I'm trying to get back into knowing who these people are. So I like to, you know, dabble for a bit, but an entire episode, it's been a really, really long time.
Well, Moose is champion now,
I heard, I saw. Good for
and
him.
he's teaming up with Suzuki and W. Morrissey.
So Minoru Suzuki is now over at Impact doing his thing.
For this set of tapings, yes.
It's incredible how that guy has been able to somehow, the older he gets, the more popular he gets, the more stroke he gets in the business, the more respect he gets, right? He's all over the place. And when he was younger, people didn't really give a damn, you know, but now he's like the dude. So that's pretty cool to
You know why, BRV? You know
What's up,
why
man?
that happened?
Why is that?
Because kids can Google things, and before they couldn't. So now this clout is instantly available to anybody who never heard of him 5 seconds before, but then they pick up their phone and then they can act like they followed his whole career. So I've been a Minoru Suzuki fan, you know, like that's exactly what the power of this younger generation can do.
I understand that 100%. You know, I have a story to tell about that. Big Ray Hernandez. I don't know if you guys know him. But,
I've never Googled him. No,
He,
I've never.
Don't Google him. No, it's not safe search.
That's my guy. He's notorious for hating AEW, right? And all of a sudden, people start coming to AEW, and he's like, "Oh, AEW is the best, right?" and he tells me, you know, Daniel Bryan is over there now, and you know, he's better than Kenny Omega. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't feel that way. I think Kenny Omega is better than Daniel Bryan. I love Daniel Bryan. I think he's one of the best in the world. But I think Kenny Omega is better than he is, and that's a subject for debate, of course. And then Big Ray goes, "Oh, that's because you don't know about Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon." Like, man, get out of here, bro. Like, you didn't come to one ROH show with me back in the day here in New York. I'm like, you Googled that and found out that he was the American Dragon, and now everybody's jumping on the bandwagon that didn't know him before or whatever. So yeah, I can relate to what you're saying because Big Ray pulls that shit on me every day, all the time.
And he pulls it on me every week on the Next Level Wrestling Review. And I specifically called him out on this exact point. So I don't remember what episode it was. You can all go back and watch it. But I told him, like, well, all of a sudden, you know, when Big Show and Mark Henry come to AEW, they're a joke. But all of a sudden, with two wrestlers you like show up in AEW, all of a sudden, you know, so that's an unfortunate side effect of Big Ray.
Shouts to Big Ray. What's up, buddy?
Yeah,
you're the dude.
We still love
Probably
Big
won't.
Ray.
Right.
He's probably wandering the streets of New York right now, yelling at homeless people, getting mad at the MTA. It's or he might call in the show. We might get a French Spider-Man run in here. Now the vet. You might not know this, but Billy Ray Valentine was responsible for New Japan not running shows during 2020. It wasn't the C word. It was the BRV word. That guy right there.
Running what, American shows?
No, just shows in general.
Shows in general.
He shut New Japan down.
I'll break this down for you. I was very upset at because they didn't put the title on Ibushi. Because I happen to think that Ibushi is the best wrestler in the world. I'm a big fanboy for Kota. And they didn't do it. So I said if they didn't do it by a certain amount of time, I would shut them down. And everybody thought I was kidding. You know, the WLR audience, they thought it was a big joke. And, 2 months later, they were shut down and they couldn't do anything. And everybody attributed to the C word, like Colin said, but it had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with me shutting down that company. And as a result, after I let them come back, they gave me a nice replica IWGP title, which I have in my closet right now. It's a beautiful thing. Shouts to Steve King. What's up?
Shouts out to the Strangler. Yeah. So Moose is our I guess our spirit animal here on Impact Wrestling. He is like the greatest thing, and now that he is champion, he's got a gauntlet of things that he's got to go through. And at the start of the show here, we get a flashback of last week's show. Moose taking the title, Billy Ray Valentine, from Josh Alexander, while Josh Alexander's family is in the ring celebrating with him at Bound for Glory. He comes in, does the Money in the Bank briefcase swap with the referee, spears Josh Alexander in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, and we've got a new world champion. So now he's teaming up this week with Minoru Suzuki, Morrissey versus Eddie Edwards, Sami Callihan, and who is the third person? Is that
Sami Callihan, where he
Sami
wheel
Callihan.
himself down there?
He is. Eric Young's out there on a torn ACL. Fucking Sami Callihan can do it.
It's not anymore. No, this is Eddie and
Cardona.
Cardona
that's
and that other guy.
Alexander.
Burt Macklin.
No, he's in the first match.
He was in
who
the
was
first
it?
match.
It was, Josh Alexander. Yeah.
Josh Alexander. That's right.
So I heard this guy Josh Alexander is like the real deal. I don't know. You guys tell me. I couldn't pick him out in an audience of one. I have no idea who the hell he was. But people are telling me that this guy's like really good, like pound for pound, the best wrestler in the world. Some people are calling him out. I don't know. But what do you guys think of this dude? Is he the truth like that?
Oh, he's better than Kota Ibushi, but I don't know if he's the best wrestler in the world.
Right.
He's good for what Impact is doing, I guess. But yeah, he's more of a no nonsense type of wrestler.
Okay.
A lot of wrestling, He's got the amateur headgear like a Rick Steiner.
Like a Steiner, huh?
Yeah, and so that's how you know he's serious. Because other than that, he'd just be another bald white guy with a beard. But since he has the headgear, he stands out a little bit.
I heard he could really go. I'm interested in watching him at some point. But like I said, I can't spot him. I'm sorry, right? Like I fell off watching Monday Night Raw for so many years after so much. It's been so bad that it just desensitized me to wrestling to the point that I stopped watching even the wrestling that I liked. I'm just now getting drawn back in slowly, by everything that's going down in AEW. So I've been watching Rampage. I can't watch Dynamite because I got something to do that night. But Rampage I've watched some of, and I'm slowly coming back, and I love professional wrestling. It's since I was a little kid, but I just don't watch it anymore because it's so incredibly bad. So many people that you guys talk about, like I've for a long time, I knew about what was going on at NXT because I used to listen to Andrew Bello's show because I stopped watching NXT, and then I stopped watching everything else. But it shows like yours that I can, be like, oh, who's that guy or whatever. So excuse my ignorance. It's just been a long time. I really don't know who these people are. So if I don't have a lot to contribute on that level, I just want to apologize ahead of time. What's up, Tom?
No one can blame you for that. I mean, if it's bad, it's bad. And even when you're a fan of something, yes, by proxy, you can be forced to quit watching it, even though it has something else. Like Raw has nothing else to do with any of these other shows, but yet it's so bad it makes you just want to quit. You just have to make the distinction. Remember, that's not wrestling. That's some other weird thing that they're doing over there. And that's like a Titanic that's getting ready to hit an iceberg. And if everybody jumps off now, there may still be time to save. They just let what 18 people off the boat, right? So that's gonna be good. Yeah, this is but everything you're saying is correct. Like, this is so bad it makes you just want to quit. I wouldn't be watching Impact. But I have a question though, Billy, because you were saying like Wednesday you have something else to do. So are you one of the people, the magic 18 to 49 that only sit in front of your TV when wrestling's on and does not record it and watch it later, does not watch clips on the YouTube? Like, you're the guy that just watches TV like it's 1955.
DVR, what is that? Like, literally, I am that guy. If it's not, and sometimes I dabble and I go on demand because I have Sling TV, right? So I'll go on demand and they'll have it there. But I even can't watch that for some reason. I'm like, it's a tape show. I don't want to watch it. I want to watch it live. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me, right?
You think wrestling's a sport still, you know, like maybe. We all should.
Yes.
And it should be presented as. Like, where if you missed it at the time, it's too late. You know, do you want to watch a taped NFL game? Like,
no, right?
I mean, I do, but that's because I can fast forward all the commercials and stuff. But then, to live that way, you have to shut yourself off from the rest of the world. Don't tell me the score. Don't tell me what happened. You can't look at any channels that have the ticker on the bottom. You have to avoid everything until you're able to watch the games that you want to see or the fights that you want to watch or whatever. Right. Like, I had to take 16 hours off social media before I could get a chance to watch UFC. So, you know, like, it's kind of your choice. You either be there live or you shut yourself off from the rest of the world.
Right.
Tape the world and get back to it later.
Right. No, and to be honest, right, you should, at this day and age, there's really limited space for excuses not to watch something because it's all over the place and you can catch it at whatever time. I am extremely busy 9 times out of 10. So I can't always watch, and even like, but what you make an excellent point because you're absolutely right. I still haven't made that transition. Like, if it's not live, like, oh, I missed it. Oh, well, I guess I missed it. You know, I completely forget that I can go on demand and do it. And then when I do go on demand and find it, it's not the same. So I turn it off. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but that's the way my brain is currently operating. Regardless of that, I wouldn't have had much time to catch it anyway. You know, if I'm going to watch anything, I'm going to watch 90 Day Fiance, you know, and then go to bed. You know, that's my choice right now over most professional wrestling shows that are on television. But Impact is still going strong. I thought Impact would be gone a long time ago. You know, Ray is an Impact loyalist, right? At least he has been for a long time. I don't know how he feels about it now, but he's been covering TNA Impact Wrestling since the beginning almost, right? Is what he's been doing. I don't know much other people that have stuck around and been committed to this company to that level since it came about. Yet it's still going. ROH is apparently falling a freaking part, or it's gone. Is it gone now, Colin?
I think they're restructuring for next year. So they've released everybody out of their contracts, and they're looking to release news and go into 2022 like clean slate, fresh and new.
Oh, well. At least they're not completely gone, but I was under the impression that it was a wrap.
It could
I'm
be.
like, how did Impact Wrestling survive and ROH is almost gone or is on life support? I don't get it. You know, how do you guys feel about Impact Wrestling as a whole right now? I mean, they got a lot of stars, right? People are coming in, and it's presented kind of for people that aren't week to week invested or aren't smart marks. I'm not that you guys are smart marks, you know. I'm calling myself a smart mark. That's fine. You know, you know, like that view wrestling in a particular way or whatever. Impact Wrestling looks a lot better than it did a few years ago. You know, just because of the star power that's there, and you know, they've crossed over with AEW, you know, and Christian Cage was recently the champion and the whole deal. It kind of elevates the prestige of the company and the title. But nobody's watching apparently, from what I'm hearing with the ratings. right? And nobody's watching this thing. So I mean, how are they staying afloat for one? And what's the perception of this thing? If you guys don't mind me asking.
Well, as far as how they're staying afloat, it all just depends on how much money billionaires want to sink into the stuff that they have.
Right.
If Sinclair Broadcasting is like, Ring of Honor, fuck off, then Ring of Honor is going to fuck off and they may be gone forever. If Anthem is like, oh, Impact, it's good content for us that we don't necessarily have to, pay to produce or whatever, then they could stick around and whatever. I don't know what their metrics are, how they make money. They got Josh Matthews on there hawking trading cards. Can you imagine the sad individual that's buying trading cards of Impact wrestlers? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? So, yeah.
I guess with Anthem owning them, it's a lot like Sinclair owning ROH. Is they can cut costs and save money because it's product that they can put on their networks and sell ad space. So they probably get a lot more ad revenue off of owning this type of product and it being a live sport, even though it's pre-taped. They do the bulk tapings, kind of like the NWA does.
I don't even know if Ring of Honor has a channel, dude. I don't know if it appears on television in any significant way.
It does. It comes on like it's kind of like how Sunday or like how Main Event would be, where you got to find it on these weird channels late at. I know here in North Carolina they show it like 1-2 in the morning, like they used to do at ECW on the old ESPN Deuce. You would find it at like 1 or 2 in the morning. You'd see like I'd see Jay Lethal on my TV screen, just randomly.
I would watch it on the Fight TV app, and going by the ads that they play on there, which is all like, Nugenics pills with Frank Thomas and selling insurance with Joe Namath and stuff like that. That kind of tells you where their audience is at, like with the audience they have, and that's not the audience that you wouldn't think of a geriatric audience for Ring of Honor, but I mean that's apparently the people that are watching their show, so that's the kind of commercials and ads that they get. I don't know, man. I don't know where Impact's getting their money from or how long they're going to limp along. I wouldn't say they're going strong. I'd say they're going weak. I'd say that they're one of those like always on life support or living out their years in an iron lung, just waiting for, Anthem to pull the plug. But they could get absorbed or dispersed, to the rest of the indies before we know it. But as for the show, I don't know, Brandon, I want to hear what you think about the show, and the reason why is because not only because you've been sitting there quietly for the past half hour, but also because you were not into it, and then when you started doing the Impact, that's where you get into it. So now you've got a fresh perspective, sort of divorced from the rest of the history a little bit. I mean, I know you've dabbled in TNA because they've been around for so damn long, 20 some years or whatever. But so now you're looking at it with a fresh set of eyes as entertainment in general, not really comparing it to a lot of other wrestling, which I don't think you have time to watch. So what do you think about the show in general, to answer Billy's question?
I mean, it's worth catching every week at least and following along with. I mean, it definitely could be better. Some improvements or stuff, some other stuff I'd like to see some improvements on, and some things done differently. But other than that, I think it's a decent enough show to devote at least a couple hours a week to watching.
So I guess the issue comes with like if you have a good show and nobody knows, like they're not gonna put, even if Impact is a good enough, it's like okay, it's better than Raw, for example. And it's not as expensive looking as Raw, but it in a different way, it's not as bad. But in many ways, like they're trying to be Raw from like several years ago, like that sort of sports entertainment, wacky stuff going on with the undead bridesmaids and that bullshit.
Probably all writers and people that were around in the WWE at that
probably time. Yeah, probably all fired writers assistants that work over there or whatever. I don't know. But even if they're doing good enough, if nobody knows and they're not putting any, why would you put money into promotion of something you don't believe in? Like you can see that Anthem doesn't fully believe in the product, because they're not advertising for it and more people don't know about it. You know, the most views that they probably get is from their Twitch channel. So you've got that sort of like the hybrid gamer crowd that might check out a lot of their stuff. That's when they're going to see them live for the most part. Way more young people will watch Impact through Twitch than they ever would trying to find it on Axis TV.
It's true, man. Yeah.
Yep.
But they didn't get a bump from the AEW crossover, though. That was the thing. They literally, I think the first time they did the crossover, they got big numbers, but the product was so bad, everything was so bad
because everybody,
those AEW kids,
because everybody that's an AEW fan already knows Impact exists and chooses not to watch it.
Right.
Like, why the hell would I go out of my way to watch extra stuff? And then the few people that do, like, if you just love Kenny Omega that much, and you gotta
do anything, that was,
and you gotta go over there and watch it, or you love Christian Cage that much, or you love whatever, then you are gonna go watch it. But those numbers are not gonna appear significant. You know, you're talking about hundreds of people, not thousands and tens of thousands of people. So
well, that's an excellent point. And I think you're absolutely right. I think that the overall, and I've been arguing with some friends, you know, the professor, the professor. I argue with the professor and 8-Track Brown a lot about this, and I don't think they're that the wrestling crowd has expanded. I don't think there is a casual fan, quote unquote, anymore. I don't think these things exist. Right. I think there's the WWE fans, and most of those people know what AEW is or what, Ring of Honor is. Not all of them, but most of them, And I think that there's these same people are watching the product, and there's like let's say 2 million eyes, 2 million pairs of eyes for the product. And they're all scattered around, and that's what you get. And there's people that, like TNA, or Impact Wrestling wasn't going to get a bump from everything that went down with AEW because of exactly what was said. There's a perception there of what Impact Wrestling is. If this company, I don't think there is a way to save it, but if they were ever going to come out of this, they have to rebrand altogether somehow, and I don't even think that'll save them. But, well, they're still around, so what the hell am I talking about, right? But I mean, on a level that they can break through and actually compete with like an AEW, I don't. That's kind of far fetched, right?
Well, that's never going to happen.
It's never going to. Right there, you go. It's never going to happen, and I think in large part, is because the name has been tarnished so bad for so long that people are, regardless whether they're AEW tries to give them the rub, only but so many people are going to go over there and watch because they already know the deal, and that's it. And that's another thing. People were expecting CM Punk and Daniel Bryan to really push things through the roof. But the thing is like, while they move the needle, they only move the needle but so much, and there are only but so many people that they can move around and bring over, because wrestling as a whole has fallen off in the eyes of the majority of Americans and people around the world. But in particular, let's stick to America. Like the fans that were around in the 80s and the fans that were around in the 90s are gone, right? Like, even with WCW, when WCW fell apart, those people never came back. Like, they never came back to watch wrestling, and then we had the Attitude Era, and after that, and then the numbers kept falling and falling, and those people aren't coming back. What we're experiencing now are big, hot crowds of hardcore wrestling fans. There are no more casuals, in my opinion. I could be very wrong, but that's the way I'm viewing it right now.
I think one of the issues with the narrative, sorry, Colin, is like the narrative when people talk about the ratings and the numbers is, again, we're talking about the people, like, that's looking at guys like yourself who's saying that they want to be there live, or the people of a certain age that only know that they can only watch this show if they have the channel that it's on. and that's a certain age of people. Like old people have cable and satellite still. You know, that's what it is. Young people are not paying for this stuff, and the young people is the crowd that is attracted to this sort of like, you know, non-evil empire WWE, but like the other guys that are competing, the AEWs and whatever. Like that's a young crowd, and I guarantee you that young crowd is not paying $150, $200, $250 a month to have a cable package that has TNT on it when they can just go on their phone and watch this shit on their lunch break or whatever on one of the illegal streaming sites, which there's no way to account for those numbers. So there is more than the 2 million people that you're talking about. The 2 million people that you're talking about are the stubborn old people that refuse to acknowledge that technology exists and that there are other ways to consume this, and they're never going to. It's like, if it's not on my TV, and for me, like, I don't have Access TV at all. So I don't even have a choice but to watch Impact on a streaming site. I can't watch it anywhere else because I'm not going to be around to watch it on Twitch. Their Twitch channel is a 24/7 channel. So the only time it's live is that couple hours that it's live. I'm asleep at that time. I ain't watching it. So I'm definitely catching it later, but that's the thing. That channel has a small reach. But everybody that's watching wrestling and getting recorded as numbers is old people with old infrastructure of watching television. That's not how a lot of these people. I would estimate that there's a lot more people that watch wrestling. If you think of the population of just this country, and then you think of the numbers that they're claiming are watching, like the highest rated show, whatever that is, SmackDown, right? So how many people do we have in America? Approaching 400 million people, something like that.
Maybe.
And then you got 2 million people are watching wrestling. There's only 2 million wrestling fans. So that means that every 1,000 people that you go up to, like, you know, maybe or maybe, I don't even know the math on that. But you're going to have to ask a lot of people according to that before you find somebody that says they're a wrestling fan or that they watch wrestling. So I think the audience that they're looking at is locked in, and they're not doing anything to expand counting that. You have to assume that there's more people watching, because even among the 2 million, those are the 2 million that would have the capability of being recorded. Like, who has a Nielsen box or whatever, if they're still using that kind of shit? Like, you think that only those people are watching wrestling? Of course not. So they keep reporting these numbers, and they keep talking about how this audience has fallen off. And I think I'm not saying it's as, there are a lot of people that fell off. There are. But there's also many times, and you know this if you've ever talked to like wrestling fans, either just as another fan or as a wrestler yourself or whatever, you'll talk to people and they'll be like, oh yeah, that wrestling, yeah, I used to watch that. I don't watch it anymore though, because it's not good. But what is Seth Rollins doing, man? What, he thinks he's out here trying to be the Messiah? I don't get it, man. And they start talking about all the current storylines and shit, and still say, but I don't watch it though. Like, that happens so much, right? So they're not, the old people are not keeping up with this stuff through YouTube clips or streaming sites or stuff like that. But I think the audience is bigger than it's being reported to be.
You know, I mean, you make some good points. But I would say that if the audience is bigger than what's being reported, it's not by much. I get a completely different experience out here. If I get a lot of, oh man, you're a wrestling fan. Yeah, I used to work for Bill Apter. Oh yeah, you know Bill Apter. Yeah, I remember Bill Apter. Oh, you remember Andre the Giant? You know, oh man, that was so dope. You remember Stone Cold and The Rock? That was the best.
No, I forgot. Who are they?
Who's Seth Rollins? You know, that's what they have no idea. Most of the people that I talk to that reminisce about professional wrestling, they have no idea what the hell is going on in the WWE, nor do they care. You know, they're like, well, I used to watch when Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing his thing. And that's it. Then John Cena came around and I never came back, you know? So, I mean, there is something to be said for people, getting this stuff in through unconventional ways, right? So watching wrestling on their phones, or getting the pay-per-views from some weird ass site, and that goes on. But I would say, and I could be very wrong, but this is just from my experience, I would say that if there is I don't even think there's an increase. I think those are the same people that are, if they're not watching, well, there must be some type of an increase, but I know a lot of people that watch on TV that bootleg the pay-per-views, so because they don't want to pay for it, so there's a lot of crossover. And I really don't think that the bump, if there is any bump, I don't think that the bump would be significant. Just judging from the overall climate of professional wrestling for quite some time. Maybe it's me, maybe I'm biased because I'm so soured on the product, right? And I'm willing to admit that. But from what I've been seeing and what I've been experiencing, it's just not that. It's not what it used to be. What's up on it? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think it's just two different things. I think we're talking about a generation of people that want to watch wrestling, and half of them fell off. But every day is somebody's first wrestling show. Somebody became a fan that day. So those fans are getting replaced with younger people, but the younger people aren't watching TNT, USA, Fox, Sports One, they're not, or certainly not Access TV, and that kind of a thing. So those are the like the new fans that are just getting into wrestling, whether they're little kids, teenagers, early 20s, whatever brings them in, just like whatever brought us in back in the day, the new fans that are being created, because there are new fans being created every day. It's not like we only had this many wrestling fans and we're burned through them all. We don't have any more. It's not like that. Those people are being lost, but they're being replaced with other people. The younger people are just not using the methods that the older people use. They're not using the TV. They're not using it. So they're not getting counted. That's basically all my point was, is that, holy shit, it's Dr. Wagner. But yeah, so.
Yo, that's a dope Dr. Wagner mask, bro. I have two of them. I don't have that one, man. I would have brought it out and we both could have been Dr. Wagner.
The chat was tired of seeing my face, so I had to.
It's so nice of you to do. When the chat is tired of seeing my face, I just show more of it. That's very nice of you.
I think part of Impact's problem is a problem that the UFC does not have, is that they can't keep the casual fans, like the vet was saying, and like you were saying, Billy Ray Valentine, is that the hardcores are the hardcores. They're always going to be there, and I think that's what's carried TNA with their stellar library that they have, because they do show the little flashback matches. So you've got AJ Styles, you've got these guys that you can put on your television screen that you don't necessarily get to put on your television screen. So like when they had Christian come back and defend the title, they were showing old Christian matches or set up like old Chris Sabin matches and things like that, to try to draw people back in and do that. That's probably where Impact's getting their money from. And as one of the guys said in the chat, them being owned by Anthem, it's a low cost, low ceiling type of thing they're having to pay for to put on their network for them to watch. But you got to get those casuals. You got to find something like the UFC every once in a while. Brandon, I'll get to you here in just a second. That when they bring Brock in, that pops a rating. Right. When people think that Brock's coming back to fight Daniel Cormier, that's going to put a lot of eyes. When they get some of these crossover athletes that come in and try to fight in the UFC, they drum it up, like this Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington stuff. Like a lot of people came to this fight because because Colby represents Donald Trump in a sense with a lot of the shtick that he was putting on up through Trump's presidency and everything like that. Like you got to get something that's going to make the people. It's like they say in the Blades of Glory. You got to get something that's going to get the people going. As Will Ferrell said, you got to get them going, and that's something that Impact's not doing. The Forbidden Door didn't do it with the crossover with AEW. Hopefully, the storylines they're showing now, the way that they're doing the production, we finally have Moose, a compelling character that they have created this storyline for. They've built him up. I mean, they had this man at the height lose to Chris Sabin, And we were all on this show like, what the fuck are they doing? They're having this guy lose to Chris Sabin, and look where it got us. You know, like, look at the journey that we have now. Now everyone in Impact wants a shot at Moose. Like, Moose is the number one guy because he screwed almost everyone over to get to where he is now. So you have so many new refreshing storylines, new matchups, new things that you can go with that we don't see in the WWE all that much. I mean, Roman Reigns has been the guy for how long now? Going on 10 years, more than likely. He's been ever since the Shield. It's been all about Roman for the most part, right? I mean, I remember you BRV were even one of the champions for Roman being the guy back in the day. Don't doubt Roman. He's going to come through and just destroy everybody.
I don't think I ever said that.
Oh, I can probably go back in the archives and find it.
Go back and find them. I think I specifically split with OneWrestling.com because of my criticisms of Roman Reigns and how much that was that going to make it on print or not. I think that was my last interactions with OneWrestling.com. I was, not that I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns. I think he's fine, but I never thought that. I thought it was too early for him, and then they screwed him up, and now they've rehabilitated him to a certain degree, but it's only done but so much, because it's a little bit of too little too late, in my opinion. To that point, I think that the vet was talking about earlier, what brings people to the product, right? And what brought us to the product. And what brought me to the product was Hulk Hogan. Right, I'm still a Hulkamaniac. Like I went down to freaking Florida not too long ago, and I went to Hogan's Beach Shop and spent I don't know how much money on T-shirts that I could have gotten a lot cheaper if I bought them somewhere else. But I wanted to go to Hogan's Beach Shop. That's what brought me in. It was Hulk Hogan. It's a larger than life character that could command an audience like nobody's freaking business. Right, once in a lifetime talent, or Ric Flair, right? Also. But then you skipped over to the 90s and we got Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, right? And what you thought was once in a lifetime, boom. And even before that, right, Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, right, they were filling up arenas because we lack that now. Like, in particular, the WWE, they lack that one or two talents that are going to really bring in new people and have them invested into the pro wrestling game to that level. Like I don't see that star in the WWE. I don't see them in their current main event roster, and I don't see them in the people that aren't main eventing right now. Even though that can very easily change because they do have some talent. I don't really see it in AEW. We have Kenny Omega is excellent. I think he's great, but it's for the hardcore wrestling fan. People that love the indie style of professional wrestling, what the indies had become anyway. Those are the people that like a Kenny Omega, that like a Kota Ibushi. That's me. I love that sort of shit, right? But does he have a mainstream appeal outside of the wrestling base? I don't believe he does, right? And that's what's plaguing American wrestling. I think there is one guy. There's a Okada in Japan that is that for Japan. Not that would translate here in the United States, but Okada is that bigger, larger than life star, right? Or maybe a Naito over there that has that type of Nakamura when he was over there also. But that doesn't necessarily translate to America. So here, I don't think we have that. I could be wrong, but these are part of the things that have pushed me away from the product. I don't see one of these characters that's going to bring in the new crowd and usher in like a new golden age or another, not necessarily Attitude Era, but the amount of people that were watching during the Attitude Era or during the rock and roll era of wrestling when in the 80s, so many people were involved. That's when you can go to the street and say, hey, are you watching pro wrestling? oh, I know that Hulk Hogan guy. He's freaking killing it. You know, that dude is all over the place, right? Everybody, one of the most recognizable faces in the world. And that's what went on in the 90s as well, you know, with Dwayne Johnson. So we don't have that now. Roman Reigns is not that character. He's good in the ring. You know, he's an adequate promo, but he's not that guy that's going to transcend professional wrestling. John Cena had a little bit of that, you know, and still he wasn't that guy in my opinion, but that's it.
Well, I think there's lots of reasons for that. One is just the amount of content from today versus yesterday. For example, like, so to go back to what you said, getting drawn in by Hulk Hogan.
No,
I was
right,
drawn
right.
in just by the fact that wrestling was on after the cartoons I watched in the morning. That's what got me. And you know who I didn't see on most of those superstars and wrestling challenge and stuff like that?
Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. At least not in the matches. He'd be in a promo.
He'd do a promo, right?
We'd definitely be aware that he'd exist and we'd see toys for him. But if you wanted to see Hulk Hogan fight a dude, you had to watch a pay-per-view. You had to buy it, you know?
Yeah.
And now we don't have that. Everything's given to you. And you can see Roman Reigns every week, and it's not a big deal. And he'll even have a match sometimes. They're doing the closest thing that they can with him, but that's more like a too little too late thing, because now there is not that element of people half-ass wanting to suspend their disbelief and pretend wrestling is real for a while. Right. Now even if Roman Reigns is doing something cool, they're only doing something cool for Roman Reigns, and everybody else on the show is a cartoon joke, you know? So that doesn't help when when you're looking for the guys that are supposed to be the draws. You buy a ticket to them. Yeah, you're happy when you see them, but then everybody else, you're like, this is embarrassing. When's my guy going to show up? You know, so
right.
It's a question of needing to produce way more content than you used to. You know,
well, in the 90s, though, you know, because I subscribe to that. There's a part of that that's absolutely true. Because I remember tuning in on Saturday mornings, and we didn't have cable. I didn't have access to any of the WWE pay-per-views. All I had was Saturday morning. That's it. And I would, and that's how I would see what Hulk Hogan was doing. And sometimes, I mean, once every freaking 6 months, right? He'd come through and wrestle Boris Zukov. And it was the biggest thing in the world, right? He just
right.
beat the trash out of Boris Zukov. I love this, right? Or you can watch Saturday night's main event, right? And I would stay up late, and then you see Hulk Hogan. And these were great times for me. I reminiscing about them, I smile all the time, right? But the 90s, while a lot of what you said I subscribe to and is true, the 90s provided professional wrestlers every week. You saw Stone Cold. Every week you saw The Rock, and people kept coming back every week, and sometimes more and more and more. They were building on this, you know. So it is possible to have the stars of your show, even though I completely agree with you that we should have less of them on television. There's overexposure, right? And the WWE should know this, and I guess they know and they don't give a shit. But there is a way to have them on TV week after week and still keep people invested. And I guess that says a lot about those characters, about a Stone Cold and about The Rock, right? And their supporting cast, right? Like Kurt Angle, you know, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, all the people that were around during that time, you know, it says something about that. And about the show in general, but it is possible to be done. I think what happened was it became very formulaic after that. After that era. They wanted everyone to be The Rock. They wanted to reproduce it, and it was artificial at that point. It wasn't natural, and once it was artificial, it lessened what was being produced and the authenticity of it, and the people caught on to it. Now every time you see people walk out to the ring, they all got a pose. Everybody has some freaking pose, man. You know, everyone in every wrestling federation, in every wrestling organization. It's not limited to the WWE. I blame that on The Rock because, you know, and The Rock came out and did it so well, you know. and you know, Stone Cold came out and did some of it, and then everybody was doing something. But now it's required. Like NXT, let's work on your entrance. What are you gonna do? Well, let me do this shit. Because everybody else is doing something,
Shooting
you know?
bows and arrows, yeah.
Right. Like I'm like, you know, and they have to do it, and it becomes corny as far. First off, most of them are corny as hell. But when they keep doing it over and over again, it's corny as hell. And when it should be coming out to in situations that they should be pissed off, right? Or there should be something different going on. Like I think it was Charlotte Flair was in the ring with, and Sasha Banks came out. And Sasha Banks started doing a whole freaking pose and the music and all this bullshit all the fucking time. You got to do this, you know? So, I mean, this is a part of it, right? So in the 90s, you got these guys over and over again, and it still worked, you know? But a combination of the artificial rather than, and the micromanagement of what it is they have to say and what they have to do and how they have to act, on top of overexposure. Because Seth Rollins, let's use him for instance. If he's the star of the show, he's out there 3 or 4 freaking times. And when it's time for him to wrestle, you've already seen him 3 or 4 times. So what does it matter at that point? People don't care if they ever cared to begin with, you know, because I think that there's also that X factor that Seth Rollins, while I think Seth Rollins is fantastic. He doesn't have that X factor, you know, that these other guys had. And that's not putting them down. It's just some of these people are just way too good, right? Or they were special. And I don't think we have that right now.
No one, what you're saying, no one is afraid to miss out. There's no fear of missing out with these people. If you don't catch Seth Rollins, you'll catch him next time. There's no special event feeling for these shows. It doesn't feel like there's a sense of urgency that you need to see this. It's just going to be there. You know, it's never going away. You know, it's never going to stop. So if you don't watch it this week, no big deal. I'll catch it next week. And then next week comes, I don't need to see it this week either. And before you know it, you're a lapsed wrestling fan. I mean, that's basically what we've had. And speaking of lapsed wrestling fans, if anybody's still joining us here in the chat, we might want to talk about Impact at some point.
Well,
my apologies, guys.
No, you're good. It's okay. It's okay.
I didn't mean to hijack the show like that.
We need to tuck Colin in and get him ready for work in the morning.
Well, I would say that the 90s era of wrestling is probably the biggest era of wrestling ever. We'll never get back to that. I think I heard A-Track and the Masked Man talking about how they would ride through the Bronx bumping the Brood's theme song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you Track and the Masked Man weren't the only guys doing that. You got to think, how big were the WWE CDs back then? People were listening to the music. You can actually go down. I think each one of us could sit here and name a main eventer, a mid-carder, and a curtain jerker from that era. And you know, you had Val Venus, you had the Brood, you had Goldust, you had the Michinoku, you had the cruiserweights when they tried to bring them in. You had so much in that era of guys, just so many larger than life characters that made that, and to be encapsulated with The Rock, Stone Cold, and even Vince McMahon coming down and making himself a character and part of the show. But one thing that hasn't changed about Impact Wrestling, and that's the X Division. And we start off this show with an X Division's #1 contenders match. Now, Billy Ray Valentine, one thing that has changed about TNA, our commentary team is not the same. Our commentary team now consists of Matt Stryker and D'Lo Brown. Yes, that D'Lo Brown. Everybody get your necks loose.
I did not know that. I didn't know.
You're looking at the real deal now.
Over there. What was that?
I said you're looking at the real deal now.
Are you down?
I was a fan of D'Lo Brown. I liked him. And Stryker. Hey, let's if TNA needs new blood over there or Impact Wrestling, you know, I'd be more than happy to go down there and call it move for move. Colin, you could join me. It'd be dope. I think we could do a better job than those two guys, man.
With the mask.
With the mask, I have to wear the mask. Yeah, I'll be the Impact version of Excalibur.
Dope.
We do have a guy here in this 4-way who wears a mask. I don't know if you're familiar with Black Taurus, but we've got Laredo Kid, Black Taurus, Burt Macklin, and Rohit Raju coming out with Raj Singh in a number one contenders match for the X Division title to go against Trey Miguel. And boy, did we see a lot from Black Taurus this match. That man is large and he is agile. I was watching this match and I had a question that I wanted to ask you, and it was something about transitions, and I can't remember. I have to go back and watch the match again for it to jog my memory. But
well,
but
that's
I was
not going to
just
happen, so it's lost to time forever.
yeah,
now.
of course. But I was just amazed with Black Taurus's agility. I mean, this is something we haven't seen from him, I think, his whole entire time in Impact. He's been kind of that big bruiser kind of guy, and he's doing flips. He's like flipping off of guys' backs. He was Laredo Kid in this match.
I mean, well, then who was Laredo Kid?
Laredo Kid was the winner of this match.
He was the winner. I don't know. I mean, I've seen Taurus do plenty of this stuff. Maybe you're just now paying attention because half the content you don't get to watch, but he has been doing it. My note on this match was like, when I see the participants come out, I'm like, thank you, Impact, for freeing me up to watch something else on the side, because I'm not interested in multi-mans. You all know how I feel about this at this point. But yeah, so I didn't really pay too close attention. I got the finish and the afterbirth, which is the important thing. So yeah, which is Miguel comes out and then Macklin breaks up the handshake, and then they professionally wrestle at Macklin until he kind of just goes away. So that's how that ended. But I didn't really pay too much attention. So Brandon, we're leaning on you for your review of this
Brandon,
match.
we need your expert opinion here.
Tell the people what really happened and what you thought about it.
And so, is anyone here familiar with Beyond Wrestling or heard of it or seen any content from that?
Is that like wrestling made only with plants?
Or yes.
Actually, in a way, yes, because it was when it started out. It was actually it was only done live. The only crowd was actually the boys, and they were just doing it for them. And then put it on the internet, like on YouTube, and it's kind of grew a little bit from there. And I at one point I was actually part of their expansion attempt, and this seemed like it's kind of one of those matches that you'd see on there where it's just like not really a lot of structure, just kind of like. Or a traditional structure, just like, okay, put it together, move. We're just trading moves, not really selling, just kind of bumping around, getting back up, swapping spots. Okay, your turn to go in. You guys do your spot. Okay, you guys go in, do your spot. And oh shit, I lost my notes.
No, I mean, you're right, and like that is what it is. That's your typical TNA thing too, right? And one thing I did notice though, I don't have to watch the match for this, but I noticed that Rohit is usually involved in something that puts like a little bit more of the spotlight on his well-rounded talents, but in this he's just another body that they threw in there so that they could say they had a four-way, and he didn't really get anything over in this, so that's like a little, I don't know what that's really about. So that was a little bit disappointing.
They used him in transition, though. They used his heelness in one of those segments, in one of those situations.
That's not what I'm really saying. I'm saying usually he's the focus of like a B or a C or a D story in the show that gets threaded throughout, and like they want to use him for character, and then his matches pay off the character stuff that he's doing. He's not usually just thrown in as an extra body. I'm not saying he's not doing a good job within the match he's in. I'm just saying like normally it seems like as a show or as a company or whatever, they use him differently than just another guy for the car crash. And it's a waste if you don't do that, because not only can he have your car crash match, but he can have your good actual wrestling match, and he could do your good character promo or whatever. So, a little disappointing is all I'm saying.
BRV, I think a third Chimera has moved into your life. You've got Moose Girl, you've got Mandir. I think it's time for you to get on the Black Taurus half bull, half man train here.
Fantastic. We need more of these chimeric creatures running around.
So we end the match with Trey Miguel heading to the ring, extending a handshake to Laredo Kid, but Burt Macklin, that dastardly Burt Macklin, pounces and tries to take out McGill and Laredo Kid. They team up. Macklin retreats. If this was the WWE next week, we would have a handicap match of Trey Miguel, Laredo Kid versus Burt Macklin. That's probably still in the cards. Don't doubt Scott D'Amore with his headphones. He's gonna come out of his office like, you know what, guys, we're gonna have a match next week. It's gonna be the two of you guys. I can't believe you guys are doing this thing around here at Impact. Everything I've been trying to do here in Impact. That's what he does.
That's what he does. He does do that.
Next we got D'Lo and Matt Striker run through all the exciting matches still to come tonight as the vet sleeps. Backstage, Madison Rayne looks to add a 6th reign to her Knockouts title streak. Now, that's one thing that you'll like to hear. It's a throwback as Mickie James is the Knockouts Women Champion here in Impact. Billy Ray Valentine. That is something.
Wasn't she working for the NWA?
She is.
She still is. So she's allowed to jump over to TNA. I mean to Impact.
The forbidden door.
All right. Okay.
All the titles.
Basically,
are
WWE on an island at this point, and everybody else is free to travel about the world.
Yeah, you can't do business with WWE, but you can do business with anyone else. We are backstage as Ace Austin does all the talking for Madman Fulton before the big man goes up against Chris Sabin tonight. Austin brags about what a smooth victory he got over Sabin, and he feels Fulton will too. Your thoughts on this little segment we had backstage there, Vet?
I don't know about the segment, but that recap, my thoughts on that was crap because it left out the best part, right? Which is when Ace Austin unzips his jacket to reveal his new shirt, and then he says, "Gia, read my shirt," and she says, "I beat Chris Sabin." And he goes, "No, you didn't. I beat Chris Sabin."
It's very nice.
And there was
shirt.
no interruption here, which was nice. There was no
no
interruption in the
music.
previous interview either.
No music, no interruptions. That was so last taping, Vet.
Yeah. Hey, Billy, do you remember when Impact they'd have like an interview and they'd be playing like music underneath the interview, like just constantly low music?
No, I don't remember that. I
don't?
wish I did though.
It's been like the last 10 years of their existence they've been doing that. So I thought you'd watch it at some point.
I'm sure I did. It just erased it from my mind. It's a defense mechanism.
Well, hearing that, what do you think about that idea of like, hey, we're gonna have these guys come in and talk and try to sell something, but we'll play a little bit of music under there because we can't trust you to not be bored by just this person's words. So we'll play a little music. Do you like that idea, or does that seem jabroni-ish?
I like the idea of the music is good. Right? If the music is bad.
You know what? Cut his mic, Colin. We're done. We're done here.
Yo,
you can find Billy Ray Valentine in the Infinite Fringe.
Yo, ECW used to do this, and it was dope, right?
That's different. That was a montage. That's not like a supposedly live interviews. Those are like a series of quick cut tape stuff.
During live interviews,
this is like this is Caleb Braxton getting backstage with Bray Wyatt, and you're hearing this under it. Actually, you're hearing probably more.
Can you imagine if Mean Gene was in the room with Hulk Hogan, and they're just quietly playing Real American under his promo, like as Mean Gene's talking to him.
You know what, brother? Dude, I don't remember any of that. Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch because it sounds like classic, like awful television.
Yeah. Anyway, we single-handedly got that shut down, so everyone's welcome.
They listen to the show. You know how they do, Billy Ray Valentine.
Congratulations, guys.
Yes.
Well, up next, Eric Young back from ACL surgery. His knee's been torn up the past couple tapings. We are getting him back in the ring. Eric Young versus J Vidal. But before he competes, Eric Young is going to state how disappointed he is in Rhino for turning his back on their group. But now it's time for the master to get his hands dirty, as they say. This guy is apparently the PCW Ultralight champion and an alum of Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum. So there was a brood stitch back there. Young just beats the crap out of the guy. Hits him with the spike pile driver. It wins in under 2 minutes. What a great return for the leader of Violent by Design. Brandon, we're going to go to you first. What were your thoughts on this squash match here and bringing EY back?
Well, at first, the biggest takeaway I took away from the match was the pile driver sell. Like, I've never seen that. I thought that was great, and hence the name I chose, Pogo Neck. But the only issue I had with the promo was like he kind of just pretty much ripped off the NWO phrase. It's like there's other ways you can make that same point without directly ripping that off, like say maybe like the only way out of VBD or Violent by Design is in a box, or you only we just it's not you who makes the decisions. There's something like that. It's not without ripping out the NWO phrase.
For
What's
life
Violent
when you're
by
in Violent by
Design?
Design.
It's a faction.
It is a new faction started by Eric Young. It has Joe Doring. I don't know if you know who that is. Cody Deaner. And it had Rhino, but now that Heath Slater is back from injury, Rhino has left the group, and he's back with Heath Slater. I got kids. Heath, the kids care about you. They want you.
Violent by Design. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Violent by Design was the name of Jedi Mind Trick's first album, the underground, the underground classic is Violent by Design, Vinnie Paz. So I don't know if it's any relation, but they might have ripped it off of there, which is dope if they did. I think that's fantastic. I just wanted to point that out. Go ahead.
Well, here's what they did rip off. Eric Young had, besides the NWO catchphrasing, he had the Casey Jones mask from Ninja Turtles 1 that he came out with. Did you like that?
That's dope.
The Elias Koteas version. Yep. So this is our first interruption because even though Eric Young kind of expected it, but it seemed like an interruption at the time. But yeah. So this kid claims that his name was J Vidal, but I'm pretty sure that this is the disappointing son of the bad guy from Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's what he's actually known for, I guess, J Vidal, is being like an out wrestler. So this was kind of like a progressive match, I guess. I don't know what you want to say. Like, I mean, Eric Young commits a quick hate crime and it's over. But I mean, at least we got him out. No pun intended. Well, kind of intended. Out there in front of people. So, but yeah, that's his kind of that's his kind of thing, I guess. On the indies, he's known for a wrestling move called the Power Bottom Bomb. So if that gives you any idea the direction that his character is going.
That's dope.
The Power Bottom. Yeah, that's pretty hilarious. That's good. That's good.
Power Bottom Bomb. Power Bottom Bomb.
Yeah.
Power Bottom Bomb.
You got to think of JR saying it.
By God, he's broken it in half.
Dope.
He split him right. He split him right down the middle.
Yes, he did. All right. So, well, the knockout. Oh, you'll be very surprised to hear this. TNA, aka Impact, has new knockout women's tag team champions, Billy Ray Valentine, and you will never guess who they are. We'll give you one quick guess. Guess who the new?
Is it still the Iconics?
It is. They're not the Iconics. They're the Inspiration.
Ugh, that's a horrible name, but still, that's good, I guess. That they gave them the tag straps. I don't know. I saw that when it happened. I was like, oh, okay, but they'll always be the Iconics to me. So, good for them, I guess. Are there any tag teams in Impact Wrestling? Like, what are the other women tag teams out there?
You've got Havoc and Rosemary. That's about it.
Not a tag team. I'd like to, if we could, I'd like to not dignify what happened next on the show by responding to it or covering it.
Okay, we can totally skip where the Inspiration were instructed that they were doing a locker room talk interview with Madison Rayne before their match tonight, but they headed to the hotel to meet her instead. Face creepy lights used by Decay. On the mirror, there was a message that said, "Turning point. Could we see the rematch between these two teams in 2 weeks?" That's not what you want to talk about, is it?
Do you also like how it was supposed to be like a found footage scenario, but they put up, somehow somebody put up the graphic that said locker room talk?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the locker room talk graphic the guy put up there. I thought it was going to be an exciting new show.
What if in the Blair Witch, when you were watching it, like right in the middle, they just put up the Blair Witch Project graphics, just so you know.
You're watching the Blair Witch.
Oh, I guess it's not real. Okay.
All right, Saturday, November 20th on Impact Plus, we'll have Turning Point. The Inspiration also find Gia Miller, tell her that about their scary incident from moments before. Miller advises them to stay away from all the spooky knockouts who lurk the hallways. including the Undead Bridesmaids, Brandy Loren and Kimber Lee. There is a non-title match after that. I guess you want to skip over that part too, right? Bet.
It's kind of amazing that 2 weeks in and the Inspiration has already set up like a full-blown restaurant to handle the volume of chicken salad and lemonade that they're expected to churn out for this show. Normally,
Oh,
Time for me to
shit.
go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Good time. Pleasure to meet you guys.
Hey, where the hell?
Colin, thank you very much.
Where are you going?
Colin,
It's time for me to go.
you're not
where?
going to bed tonight, buddy. You better
I
have
know.
a
I gotta go.
bang stock in the fridge.
I do have to go soon, though. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
This fucking guy. He goes, I sent you the link. I emailed it to you. Who the fuck checks their emails?
The other 3 people that are on the show that check their emails that got the email link
Stop
sent
it.
to them.
We're
Strong bad.
we were in. All right, listen to this. He texted me. He texted me in the group chat that he emailed me the link. Think about that one. Fucking dope. What's going on, guys?
Yo,
What's up,
dude,
Big
if you
Ray?
didn't text me, like I wouldn't have known. Like I don't check my email.
Fucking email.
But that's
Listen.
because we're old, like Vet says. We can't. We have to watch live television. We don't check our emails. All of this shit is real. It checks off.
What is it, like 2008 shit? Sent it to your Yahoo account.
I sent you the you had your away message up. When you get back to your instant messenger, it'll be there for you.
Careless.
Your AOL instant messenger.
Vet, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, just loving the world and everyone in it.
Brandon, yourself?
Yeah. Just chilling, loving life.
Brandon
Really?
still has those DVDs of books behind him too. Big Ray.
Shut up.
How come you're not gonna ask me how I'm doing?
Yeah, that's kind of rude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck, bro?
I know you for 25 years. You're
What
doing.
does that have to do with anything? You're still
I
not asking me how I'm doing.
talk to you all the
I've
time.
been sick all weekend.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
You have AIDS again?
Yes.
Oh.
The hell is wrong with you?
Take a pill.
All
What is
right,
that?
Impact Wrestling. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's keep
Yeah.
running down this card, guys. We got a non-title match as the Impact Tag Champions, the Good Brothers, versus Finn Juice. This match, no contest, as the Bullet Club intervenes and Bullet Club beats up Bullet Club and then beats up Finn Juice on Impact Wrestling. Billy Ray Valentine, did you ever think that you would see Bullet Club versus Finn Juice on Impact Wrestling?
I don't know who Finn Juice is.
David Finley's son, and
Is he good?
Fit Finley's son, and Juice Robinson.
Oh,
I thought you watched New Japan, Billy.
no, I haven't watched anything.
They've been in there longer than since you've been watching it. Yes.
No,
Well, I've been watching.
You know David Finley had a son that wrestled in New Japan. You knew
Yes.
that, and you know Juice Robinson
I do.
exists.
I know Juice Robinson, but I
They're
didn't know.
now a team.
I thought Finn Juice was like Shark Boy and a
Oh,
freaking bucket of juice or something. Like I
They're
know
not
that.
that good. They're not that good.
So, yeah, like I've been fading away for quite some time. I'm gonna confess that I didn't watch Raw for about a year and a half while I was doing WLR.
Where I get it from, Vet. I try to tell you, and he's still reviewed as with the best of them, Vet.
Well, I'm proud of you boys. I really am.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
I'm proud of you for walking away like that, and still keeping your responsibilities. Like, I think that's really awesome because you can do it. You proved it. You proved it can be done.
Brandon, do you have anything for Big Ray or Billy Ray Valentine on the Bullet Club versus Finn Juice?
I was happy to see the way the finish was laid out. I was kind of worried they're going to go into that contrived waterfall shotgun finish, but instead he had the Bullet Club run out and cause a non-finish and actually create interest in seeing where this goes and build to the next week, which is good booking, good solid booking, and makes you want to pay to see an actual finish.
Yeah. When I want guys to do a job, they have the finish they should have. But I want to point out this is my technical wrestling spot of the week that I like to point out, because any chance I get to bury the Good Brothers, I'm going to take it. So, in the inevitable chinlock spot, right? Gallows.
Rest hold.
Yes, Gallows uses the old Rev, he's pulling my tights thing, right? So, problem with this is he breaks the chin lock so that he can use his other hand to point to his tights. So Juice Robinson just stands there with his arm lightly on his neck while Luke Gallows is trying to direct the referee around, and then the referee, like an idiot, even though he can see both of Juice Robinson's hands struggling to breathe, goes around and checks to see if he is indeed has a third arm that's pulling Luke Gallows' tights. And then Luke Gallows pulls him down by the hair, of course.
He's Goro.
Yeah, he's Goro, you know. So, and everybody knows that, but especially this ref. But yeah, but the best thing about this was when the Bullet Club ran in, because they literally attacked everyone in the groin, like groin only. Like this was if this was like a video game speed run, it'd be groin only run any percent, and the percent they got was 200% because they hit everybody twice in the balls. It was fucking great. It was the best thing on this show that is non-Moose related, and everybody should definitely go back and check it out because it's just so funny with the seriousness of which they're like cartoonishly punching everybody in the balls. And as for the question of like why the Bullet Club is fighting the Bullet Club, the Good Brothers splintered off from the Bullet Club a long time ago. They've been excommunicated and they are not a Bullet Club anymore. So they're just OG posers now.
I've thoroughly enjoyed some El Phantasmo now. I think that you've sold me on the ELP. I am firmly a fan of the ELP here. Backstage, we've got Johnny Swinger, who is casino-less now, chatting it up with Gia Miller. Hernandez steps in to tell Swinger he's going to help him deal with the demon. So apparently Finn Balor next week in the Impact Zone versus Johnny Swinger. Is that correct? No? No, he says the demon, though.
Is Kid Cash gonna fight Elix Skipper? They still doing that?
That's on BTI.
The X Division Championship.
That's the pre-show. That's the Impact's version of AEW Dark. Backstage, Finn Juice is
wait, Colin. Did you like how Hernandez and Swinger literally held hands as Hernandez led him away? Like, yeah.
Poor Johnny Swinger. He's gonna get his casino back. We gotta get Johnny his casino back. But
well, just so you guys know, the casino is actually and Vet will know it's on NXT right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is true, and they moved it to NXT.
Yeah, he mailed it to Duke's Duke. I was gonna say Duke Silver.
Duke Snyder.
Duke Hudson. Duke Togo.
Duke Snyder.
Yeah, they mailed it to him. I don't know if he intercepted the mail or if they actually just addressed it to him, but it's over in NXT now. So if you want to see Swingers Palace, it's called Duke's Poker Room now.
Hernandez is like, hey, Johnny, I know a guy. His name is Santos Escobar. I call him. He gets you a casino back, man.
Hey guys, real quick. Is it just me, or maybe like Colin should fucking do the show like this every single week with that thing on his face?
Why does no one want to see my face?
It's fantastic.
Someone asked why you looked weird earlier, but just because he wasn't wearing his glasses, they're like, Colin looks weird.
He's a little cross-eyed. He has one eye looking that way, the other eye looking behind him.
Someone called him Johnny Gargano. They said, why is Johnny Gargano hosting the Impact Attack? Very disrespectful, people.
Very, very disrespectful.
When he takes off his glasses and he cries, the tears roll down his back.
That's so true. That's so true. You're the only one that makes me cry, Big Ray. Backstage, Finn Juice is angry, and Executive Vice President Scott D'Amore comes out like this. He's very angry. He's going to give Finn Juice a match with Bullet Club next week. The winner will go on to face the Good Brothers for their titles. Was I correct? He did come running out of the office like this, right?
He sauntered. He sauntered out of the office. I wouldn't call it a run, more like a saunter. Finn Juice comes backstage, not selling groins at all. hello, you just got clocked in the dick 2 times each. And you just walk back there like it's no big deal. This is the continuity issues that Impact seems to run into with all their pre-tapes and stuff. It's like no one reminded them they were supposed to have been hit in the groin before they did this pre-tape. So
This is where the producers need to come in.
what producers?
Yep, there are no.
Your producer was the guy that sauntered in, Scott D'Amore, with his headset off.
Well, guys, it's time for that match we've been waiting for all night. 2 storied careers, 2 pillars of the Knockouts division. The Knockouts Championship is on the line as Mickie James defends her title versus Madison Rayne with Caleb Conley with a K. Caleb with a K. Mickie James goes over here, retaining her title with a Luthez press. Vet, break down the match of Mickie James winning with a Luthez press.
Gotcha. Okay. The match was all right, or it sounded like it was at least. I wasn't really paying attention, but what you're referring to, the Luthez press, was she basically sat on Madison's face from the top rope. Which,
lucky.
Very lucky.
Yeah, that would almost be hot, but I'm not into bestiality, so.
Damn.
Hey,
Damn.
Yeah.
Then
You know,
you
they
shouldn't
always used to say. I remember Rip used to say this a lot. You could train a chimp to wrestle, and so I guess that's what happened with Madison Rayne. So,
Luthez press, everybody.
so I mean that's your match. If I miss anything, maybe Brandon can pick it up.
Brandon, fill in the giant holes that the vet left open for us.
Wow.
man, that bump that Caleb took on the steps, man, it's like, dude, you do not have to kill yourself now. You can just take your simple, post off the thing, do your flip over. You didn't need to throw your back into it and possibly, rupture a couple of discs.
He's not doing much anyways. He's just standing there. He could earn that paycheck every once in a while, Brandon.
Yeah.
Well, my question is, did AMW get involved in this match or no?
No, NWA didn't get involved either.
Okay.
And A&W Root Beer didn't get involved.
No. But
Yes.
guess who did come down, Big Ray?
Let me think. Jeff Jarrett.
Nope, the Knockouts Knockdown Tournament winner, Mercedes Martinez.
Ooh.
Calls out her title shot. James, with a smile on her face, accepts the contest. So we're going to get Mickie James versus Mercedes Martinez at Turning Point in 2 weeks for the
It's gonna be a good
Knockouts
match,
Women's
bro.
Championship.
Isn't it the girl that got knocked out on NXT by a short Asian chick?
Yes.
And then I told Vet that she was gonna get fired 2 weeks later, and she did.
Yes.
Okay.
And now she's at Impact, the place where WWE stars go to end their careers.
Now she'll be their champion.
And
Wonderful.
the little Asian chick has been waiting to debut on SmackDown for about 6 weeks now. She's been
She's
coming soon for 6 weeks.
She's supposed to be coming next week.
Is that Xia Li?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who Xia Li is making it to? Are they doing the weird WMAC?
No,
Masters
she's just
gimmick
back.
with
She's
her?
back to her normal WMAC master self without the Chansha stuff. I do not
WMAC Masters, dude. You remember that shit, right?
the weapon
Hell
demo.
yeah. They used to
I
get that
swear last week they said next week, and then this week they said coming soon again. Like I could have sworn maybe I was
It's like
seeing
the Ava
things,
Marie
but-
thing. They're gonna just tease her for like weeks on end.
They used to give WMAC Masters right after American Gladiator.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I used to watch it.
Going
it was
back
dope.
to the going back to that
It was
face from
Hakeem the
top, right?
Machine.
It was
Made it into
WWF.
Mortal Kombat.
It was WWF Superstars,
Right.
American Gladiators, and then WMAC Masters,
Yeah.
and
Really
then
good. I used to
then
watch all that
Godzilla
shit.
movies.
Nah, then they had kung fu movies, bro.
Yes, or Godzilla movies.
Yeah, or Godzilla movies. Either way, it was a good time, man.
Oh, Vet, before we get off, I have to ask you a question. Have you watched season 2 of the Wu-Tang Clan show on Hulu?
I haven't watched season 1.
What?
Yeah, I don't watch that.
I thought
I'm
you
not
were
gonna
Wu-Tang.
watch guys pretending to be the Wu-Tang Clan. I don't think you understand what being a fan means.
Oh,
Wu-Tang.
that's dope, Bray.
Wu-Tang. Hold on, let's do it again.
Ray's never listened to a Wu-Tang album.
Oh, you bugging, bro.
He can't name the members.
I bet you I can.
Oh my god.
You have to name all 10.
Okay, there's 9.
There's 10.
Okay, you want me to go?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
RZA the Jizza, Ghostface Killer,
Okay.
Method Man, You God,
Right.
shit, what's this dude's name? The chef, Raekwon
That's acceptable.
the chef. Who am I missing? Shit.
Oh, come on.
I know one he's not saying.
Old Dirty
right now.
Bastard.
Right.
God, if he didn't get that one, his name is that one.
Fuck. Why am I drawing a blank now? Old Dirty Bastard. That's
'Cause they
7.
put you on the spot.
I know more.
Inspector Deck.
Inspector Deck.
Hey! Hey!
I said, what?
Disqualified.
and number 8 and number 9 is Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget.
You get 0 points.
Bullshit.
I had
Oh,
to throw the whole. I had
did
to
I- who
throw
did I
the whole
miss?
thing out because Colin ran down and punched us all in the groin. So
Who did
Yes, I did.
we have to
Fantastic.
disqualify this session here.
Who did I miss?
Okay, it's okay, guys. It's
Did you
okay,
miss
just-
Ghost-
Well, you
Ghostface?
missed
Yeah.
Inspector
Nah.
Deck.
I called
No, he's-
Ghostface. I called Ghostface.
You missed Inspector Deck. You missed Master Killer.
Master
and
Killer.
and you missed Capadonna now.
Oh, Cap.
This is Wu-Tang and Jace.
Okay, question.
Some of these.
Well, he became official after Old Dirty Bastard passed.
Who's
You're
who's
right.
the who's the honorary member of Wu-Tang Clan?
What the kid? ODB's kid? Or Redman?
Boom.
Redman, right? Yeah.
Redman ain't no honorary member.
Unfortunately, it's not VSK.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see Ghostface, RZA, and Raekwon December 10th, New York City. Shit's gonna be dope.
Where?
I'll let you guys all know about it. I forget. I think it's at the Gramercy Theater. I'm not.
When are we
100%
going?
sure.
When are we going?
You coming? I got
Yeah,
a ticket.
Hello?
If you can come, I'll get you a ticket. Let me know if
Yes,
you
I
can
would
come.
like to come.
And I got class, so I shouldn't have been here in the first place. But I wanted to meet you guys, and I wanted to chill with Colin for a second. When Ray came, I gotta admit, it really turned me off, and I needed to go.
Oh.
So it expedited the process, So now I really got to go.
You
But
know what I'm gonna do to you, Billy Ray Valentine?
no,
I'm gonna
nothing.
sew your butt cheeks up, and I'm gonna keep feeding you and feeding you and feeding you.
You didn't get that from a Wu-Tang album, did you?
I sure fucking did.
Because you haven't listened to any of them.
36 Chambers.
Anyway, so no, but thank you guys, man. I appreciate it. It was fun, man. Next time I hop on here, I'm going to watch an entire episode of Impact, and I will
No,
talk
don't do
to you
that.
guys.
Don't
about it.
do it.
I
No.
have to.
No.
You guys do it. I got to.
He's got a family.
Ooh, dang.
I assume.
Take it
Fuck
easy.
them kids.
Assume.
All right.
Take it easy, guys. It was good to see.
See you, Billy Ray.
Also,
Oh, God.
on November 20th, we're recording a wrestling show, just on the state of professional wrestling as it is right now. Colin has been invited. He's going to be there. Jargo's going to be there, as
Dr.
far as I
Jargo.
know.
What day?
And that's all we have confirmed.
What day? What
at this
day?
point in time.
Ray, they
It-
didn't
it's
invite
on-
you.
on the
They want
20th
people that
is
watch
Saturday.
professional wrestling.
Stop. Are you doing this? What we used to do at OneWrestling.com? Where we used to do the round table?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. Is this,
Yeah, we're
so
gonna
we're
do
doing
it for-
the Bill Schuyler Classic.
Let's call it that. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Shouts to Bill. God bless you. But yeah, man. I'm gonna do that. And there's gonna be more people. Some conspiracy people. Some wrestling people. It'll be fun. No workers, just fans.
So I'm not invited.
I mean, you can come if you're not working.
What day is it?
It's
It's
on
the
a
third time I
Saturday.
asked you.
Said no workers. That means sex workers too, Ray. You're
Yeah,
not allowed.
yeah. Corner workers. You can't fucking
Can I? If I punch up, will I hit Colin?
No.
try it. But you
No.
go like this. Like
Don't.
put it right under your chin and go up. Try it. See what
Ray,
works out.
Ray, just calm down, Ray. Ray, just calm down.
All right,
It's not
guys.
like-
God bless
See
you.
you.
Pleasure to meet you
Bye.
guys. Take it easy.
Nice to meet you, Billy.
Boy, that guy sucks.
Hey, don't you dare say those mean things about him, okay? He's been your friend. He's put up
Brother.
with you. He's put up with you for so long. I got this sweet Kenny Omega shirt.
I'm in my mother's house.
That come in a box, Colin? That shirt?
It did come in a box.
In the crate. It came in a crate.
Came in a
Pretty
crate.
good.
Hey,
Yeah,
crate.
crate.
One that looked similar to this one.
Ugh.
Crate.
Is that the one Nick Hausman used to send you?
Yes.
Of course it is.
I have this behind the merch Pro Wrestling Tees DVD that I have yet to watch. Is still in the wrapper. I actually have a lot of these DVDs that they
made a
sent me that I have yet
DVD
to
about
watch.
them making T-shirts.
Yes,
And
yes,
thought
they
people
did.
wanted to watch it.
They did. That's why they threw it in the
Oh
the
my-
wrestle crate.
Oh my god!
Beyond the merch, they have some Albanian lady just sewing a fucking
Nick Hausman's
T-shirt.
in it.
That's the time when you get offended
no,
by a
that's
free
true.
gift.
All right. Well, we're not quite done here.
I'm sorry.
As
I'm sorry. It's a DVD about how the people make the DVDs.
yes,
Like
it's a
the-
DVD about how people make T-shirts.
When you open it up, someone reads you a book on how they made the T-shirt.
Yes.
Oh, Colin, stupid.
So we're backstage as the inspiration finds the Undead Brides, Brandy Lauren and Kimberly. They'd like to know if they'll wrestle Decay for them next week. The Undead Brides say their mother is always looking for new souls. They officially sucked their offer. Anything on that, guys? That's exactly what I thought.
I wanted to write a joke about a Kiss cover band. So this is just taking you guys behind the scenes of my thought process. But I wanted to write a joke about a Kiss cover band. So I Googled Kiss cover bands or tribute bands, and I looked at what they had, and they didn't really have anything I could work with. It's like there's one called Kiss Me. These are all female cover bands, by the way. Priss seems to be a very popular one, and one called Slutter. Not to be confused with Slutter 78.
There's not one called Love Gun Holster.
It seems like a opportunity for another band to show up, and
I think
that
LGH
name
would be a great Kiss cover band, female Kiss cover band.
well, if we find another group of 4 women that want to play these,
Put your love
terrible
gun in my
songs.
holster.
yeah, we got it. We understood.
Speaking of Kiss, I remember I dated a girl, and she had like a really long tongue that she was able to touch her chin with it.
That's not a girl. That was Gene Simmons.
What?
You went on a date with Gene Simmons.
It was
From
Gene.
Kiss.
It was Gina.
You know, Gene. He was probably talking like Triple H, like my name's Gene Simmons.
Wonder why he was flat chested. She was really flat chested.
Very, very flat chested. You know who's not flat chested? Okay, yeah, maybe he is. Josh Alexander, Eddie Edwards, and Matt Cardona, who are
Brad
getting
Rob.
prepared for their blockbuster 6-man match tonight. Alexander has a lot of pent up energy he needs to release on Moose.
Sounds
That's
good.
kind of weird.
Okay,
Edwards,
when you say it like that.
no, that's how it's written.
Rad Rob's got a rack.
A rack of
Rob.
ribs. Edwards and Cardona couldn't agree more, but they also need to save up enough energy and power to fight W. Morrissey and Minoru Suzuki. Now, Big Ray, did you see the clip on Twitter that they posted about you? It made it seem like you're saying some really salacious stuff.
Rad Rob opens his sock closet, like his little drawer, and he pulls it open. It's just like ribs cooking in there. What? What Twitter
my God.
thing?
Hang on, I gotta find
Read
it.
the room,
Vet,
Ray.
you
We
let
moved on
everyone.
from Rad Rob jokes.
Vet,
He was
carry
literally
on.
talking to you, Ray. Sorry.
Carry on
Go
with
ahead.
these last two little things that we got here before we go into the Madman Fulton versus Chris Sabin match.
What Twitter thing?
Sure.
I'm gonna find it for you. Hang on.
Sure. Yeah, so these 3 guys that I had this written down. This is exactly what I wrote down as I was watching this promo. The 3 guys getting beat by Musa Suzuki are just wasting their breath. Like, we don't need to hear anything they're talking about. They're taking an L tonight. That's what I wrote down. And then we get Madman Fulton versus Chris Sabin, the legendary, unbeatable, basically Goldberg Chris Sabin. So, Pogo Neck, what do you think about this match and how it was laid out and
Hang
how
on
everything...
just 1 second here.
Well, before... Yeah, hold that thought.
Big Ray, what do you have to say about these things here?
Okay, that was basically I was referring to what's her name, Carmen Sandiego, who was checking out.
I mean, it sounds like you're saying you'll suck that cock. I mean, it's just salacious things that these people have found that you've said on the internet.
Well, let's think about this. They took a portion out of something I was talking about for about 10 minutes on a 2.5 hour podcast. So whatever loser and virgin actually went out of their way to find that one part out of a 2.5 hour podcast and post it to their Twitter, I'd probably bang your mother. So
Is that why Rad Rob kind of looks like you?
he doesn't look like me. He looks like my asshole.
That still looks like you.
Oh.
That still looks like you.
So I don't know who the hell posted that, but that's just sad.
They were saying some really mean things about the vet, and the vet no sold. So
Well, I know sold because I didn't know nobody put it on Twitter.
it was funny.
What did they say about the vet?
I don't recall. They were just saying mean things about the vet
But
and
yes.
this show in general. We were saying that this was the best wrestling review show on Monday nights, and RTW Rewind tried to
You
replay.
don't remember what they said about the vet, but you remember a 2-second clip out of a 2.5 hour podcast that a virgin posted on his Twitter about me.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
You're pathetic, just like that person.
Well, I'm here reviewing Impact Wrestling, so and wearing a wrestling mask.
Definitely pathetic. So
at
Fulton
2:19
versus
in the
Saban.
AM.
Fulton versus Saban. Brandon.
I actually want to talk about that promo earlier.
Okay.
The stuff with the Alexander, I'm really, really enjoying. Like, this is the kind of character development that I've been talking about and wanting to see. Like, you're getting to know, like, you're understanding the man himself, his motivations, and they're actually like continuing that thing they did with Christian Cage of him, like, his emotions getting the better of him, and it's starting to make sense. Like, maybe Christian was trying to show him something. Maybe he was trying to teach him a lesson. It's kind of like, you know, I like the kind of storytelling where it's like, okay, look back at things like, okay, now that kind of makes sense in this context. This is where they're going with it. And like I want, like, if you did that further on down the line, you'd actually have a, you know, more well-rounded roster of characters that people, you know, have gotten to know and they want to see their journey.
I agree with that. I think that it's hard because they drop stuff sometimes that they start, you know. So if they can just keep consistently doing this, the show will be better overall. But, you know, like Billy Ray Valentine said, nobody's watching it. So even if it is good, no one will know. How are we supposed to know that the show is getting better and doing well? You know, how are they supposed to know that the Impact Attack is influencing the show in our own ways?
We're always
How will
influencing
anyone
the
know?
shows here at Hameen Media Group. All the shows.
Well, what about the match with Fulton and Saban?
I thought it was wrong to have Saban go over. At this point in his career, he should be putting over these up and coming guys. I mean, he's got the resume to where a win over him would be a big deal and should elevate somebody.
Nope, but he wins with a tornado small package. So, you know,
What the fuck is a tornado small package?
Oh, right, man, it'd be like a small package, right? But like a tornado version of it. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Why is Chris Sabin still on TV?
Bro, he's Goldberg. He's basically Goldberg. You can't beat Chris Sabin. Nobody beats Chris Sabin.
What? You guys are joking, right? He's not like really wrestling in Impact, is he?
Yeah, he beat Moose.
It's funny
Like-
because you said a lot of old people from Impact as jokes, like Jeff Jarrett and AMW and stuff, but one of those guys really still is there.
Yeah, but I was talking about like guys that actually were good.
No, you said AMW.
Okay, America's Most Wanted. They were fantastic tag team.
There was nothing good about what's that kid's name? Chris
Elix
Harris?
Skipper.
Chris Elix Skipper? Yeah.
What does it say? What does it say down there? Sonic
Just
the
thank you,
Hedgehog?
Big Ray. I also said, what the hell is that?
Yeah, the tornado.
Tornado small package. He grabbed the guy like he was going to do a tornado DDT. He climbed up the ropes and spun around and small packaged him.
Why?
You put more torque on it that way. You know, Bam Bam Fulton's pretty tall and Chris Sabin's pretty not. So you really got to use physics to your advantage if you want to pin a guy like that.
Chris Sabin put Madman Fulton and beat him with a small package.
Very small, yes.
Very small package.
Sisman.
It's just me.
If the Bullet Club ran in, they would have completely missed it.
It was so small, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like about a Rad Rob size package.
That's tiny.
Yeah, that's really tiny.
Tiny.
But Moose, wow, package so big.
Moose
So
a
big
package,
package.
so big a package. But first off, before we get to Moose's package, we have a couple of packages that were released by Impact, not to be outdone by the WWE. Impact Wrestling releasing No Way Jose, TJ,
So bad. That's
TJP,
so bad.
TJP, and PD Williams. Not PD, little PD Pump is no longer a part of Impact Wrestling.
Wait a second. Petey Williams is still wrestling at Impact Wrestling.
No longer.
Not
He got
anymore.
released.
Weren't you listening to
He
the
just got
story?
released
Please tell me
for the
Scott
past few
Steiner.
days.
Please tell me Scott Steiner's still there.
No.
Oh.
But we have Jordan Grace.
Kevin
Both like the
Nash.
same thing.
You say Scott Snyder? Who's that? Who's
Scott
Scott Snyder?
Listen, I'm exhausted. I'm about to go
Rob
to sleep.
Schneider?
Rob Schneider.
In
The
6
carrot?
minutes. What the fuck am I talking? What's
That's
going on
bad
here?
if No Way Jose got released, bro. Come on.
No.
How did
way.
Impact release
Jose.
him too?
No way. Jose.
This can't be.
Because they don't
this-
have enough people in the audience for him to run around and hype everybody up like they do when there's 50,000 people in the crowd.
It's the same amount of people he used to hype up. What's the difference? Where you said TJP, right?
Yeah, TJP.
Yeah, he's already doing stuff in New Japan anyways. He might have just wanted to get out of his contract to free up some of his spare time.
Sonic the Hedgerat says it was an impotent package from Chris Sabin.
Well, it won. So that what does that say about Madman Fulton? That's where he's just so buried, right? Because not only is he the big killer guy, your heater's supposed to be able to beat people up, right? Shouldn't be losing to small packages of guys that look like you should be taking them to kindergarten, you know?
You know what, though? I will say this. As the last man that we saw get beat by Chris Sabin, he eventually won the Impact World Championship. So it could bode well for Madman Fulton losing to Chris Sabin in the manner that he did. Maybe we see Ace Austin and Madman Fulton taking that World Championship title from Moose down the road at some point in time.
They're not even going to take
who
the
am I
tag
kidding?
team titles.
I have to say that Chris Sabin was probably the worst Impact Wrestling champion of all time.
I don't have a list of them in front of me, but I'll just go with that.
That was terrible.
I can agree with that. I remember watching that. That was like what there's no reason Chris Sabin should be getting that. None.
That was so bad.
He won it multiple times.
No, it did.
Just
no,
once.
Just once.
Yeah, I think it was like a X Division title cash in, I want to say.
Yes. Buckshot Kid wants to know if Big Ray, if you were at your mother's house, why is she not whooping your ass? It's way past your bedtime.
Well, the only reason I'm here is because I have to meet my son's guidance counselor to help. We have to choose high schools or something that he's gonna be going to and discuss some shit. So that's why I'm here. The school is like 2 blocks away instead of me riding in from Brooklyn, which is an hour and 20 minutes away.
How does she feel about you doing a wrestling show at 2:30 in the morning?
She's in her room.
Oh.
You want me to go over there? Should I go over there?
No, don't go wake your mom up. Don't do that.
Should I wake my mother up?
No, don't do that. She'll be really upset.
Yo, should I go in the room right now?
Your mother is a very sweet lady. Don't do that to her.
My mother liked you.
I'm a nice person.
I was shocked.
Mary O liked me. You should not be surprised. Well, you know what else? You know who else liked me? Scott D'Amore, because he gave us Moose, Morrissey, Minoru Suzuki versus Josh Alexander, Eddie Edwards, and Matt Cardona. And they did not wait to give us Josh Alexander and Minoru Suzuki as we get Josh Alexander holding Minoru Suzuki in a firm side headlock. So he's starting the match off with some chin locks here. You think he's trying to make Suzuki feel at home? Bet wrestling guys like the Bullet Club, putting him in a chin lock to kind of start the match there, like a side headlock.
Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing them in the ring with Suzuki, but no, I'm gonna say no. He's not trying to do that.
Well, 6-man tag match here. Winners are going to be W. Morrissey, Minoru Suzuki, and Moose, as Morrissey big boot to Edwards and the thunderous power bomb on Edwards to get the pinfall here. these guys, it just seems like they were just, it was a slobber knocker of a match. They were just beating each other. A lot of like hype for Minoru Suzuki getting in the ring with a lot of these guys. Everybody was pumped for Suzuki Goon in the building.
Yeah, he got his full entrance with chant, and you know, I don't like waiting almost 70 minutes for Moose, but at least he's the main event where he
Got him in the
belongs.
opening package though.
But that was old Moose stuff. I want to see new Moose content every chance I get.
Content.
Yeah, he should be in at least. Think about last week's show. He was in. Well, you didn't see it, but he was in like 3, 4, 5 segments. He just kept appearing throughout the show, and I was like, this is my favorite episode of Impact of all time, because it has like 5 or 6 Moose appearances. So like more of that, please. And I know they already taped this, so you know they couldn't have done anything really about it, but they didn't have as many Moose appearances here. But he got to be in this match. You know, fine match. Lots of excitement, lots of tagging in a 6-man. You know, which you know is pretty cool.
Was there a hot tag?
Not really. They maybe tried a little bit, but not so much. Maybe it got a little too out of control at the end because there were a lot of guys in the ring and the referee was just like, so I thought it was like I was watching Dynamite or something. But the important thing is that, you know, Suzuki gives Josh the Gotch pile driver. So that's how that ends up. And then Eddie, like you said, he got power bombed. So if Eddie Edwards can lose clean, why can't Chris Sabin lose clean? Like why does he always have to either beat somebody or have some extenuating circumstances excuse why he lost? I don't get it.
It's probably in his contract.
Who gave him that contract?
Demore. Scott Demore, probably. Right?
And they go way back. They're buddies, yeah.
Scott Demore probably hooked him up. He's probably like, look, man, I want to wrestle on TV a little bit. I want to look strong so I can get an AEW contract. That's probably the only reason why he's doing it, unless him and his old tag team partner getting back together eventually, Alex Shelley. That would be cool. How come they don't wrestle together no more?
I think Alex Shelley retired. I think.
Hold on.
Not 100% sure.
He shows up here and there.
They came back. They reunited for a bit. They had another run with the tag belts for I want to say like last year or maybe a couple years ago.
Anybody know what this is?
Yeah, that's Detroit.
That's right.
But you have to hold. But see, if you do this, that's just a weird person holding up their hand. You have to do this to make it the shape of Michigan.
Hold on.
It's cupped. It's a little too cupped. I don't know if that's Michigan or not.
How's that?
It's better, but it's still the shits.
I know this just looks like a Puerto Rican man's hand.
Yeah.
Are you trying to
But
tell
it was Detroit. We
not?
got what you were doing. Detroit. He lives in Detroit.
Look, I got 7% on my phone. Are we almost done here?
We are almost done here, sir. You, Brandon, you have anything on this 6-man tag match?
Yeah, I mean, the finish felt like it was kind of like designed and set up clearly just to create space for Morrissey to powerbomb Edwards. That's pretty much about it.
Bet.
Oh, well, I want to ask Brandon, what was his impressions of Suzuki? Anything he wants to comment on, or?
I'm digging Suzuki. I like him. I mean, he's got like, you know, like the badass sensei you don't want to fuck with vibe going to him.
That man beat Ken Shamrock in a real fight.
He's a legend, man. I mean, did he do the whole gimmick where he hands out DVDs? Does the funny face?
That's a different guy.
No, they all look the same to Big Ray.
Did he do the Rainmaker thing where the money comes down?
He came out with a stuffed cat.
Did he have a big crown?
A stuffed cat.
Start dancing like an asshole?
Yeah,
No?
yeah, that one he did. Yeah.
Okay, good. How old is Suzuki? Like 70?
Catch the 3 count on the Next Level Wrestling Review, Canada Spaceman.
I got 5%.
Well, we're going to go until you have 0%. So, ladies and gentlemen, Big Ray, if you want to go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you on social media, and we'll toss it to Brandon after you, sir.
Nigga, just, I don't know. Just, you can find me here. I'm here, yo.
I'm here.
Wait.
You can find me here.
Don't touch me. Stop touching me. Stop it. I'm at Big Ray Hernandez on. Don't stop touching me.
Don't
Big
stop
Ray.
touching him.
Don't stop touching me.
Anyway, do me a favor that by this Wednesday, I need you to watch the first 2 seasons of the Wu-Tang Clan show on Hulu.
Do you know what this is? This right here.
Sure, put a finger through it and now know what it is.
It's a 0, as in 0% chance that'll happen.
Do it.
No.
Do it. What is this?
He
To make it fun?
said, Big Ray, you're walking the streets of New York, patrolling, watching for infidels.
I'm in my mother's house, about to fall asleep on a fucking recliner.
No Dominicans.
You're gonna wake
within
up with no
earshot.
battery, and that's gonna be an excuse why you didn't get to
Can you
guidance
imagine?
counselor.
And then my son never forgives me, and he disowns me,
Yep.
and he becomes a millionaire, and I'm living in a trailer down by the river.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a van.
You wish it was by
down
the
by
river.
Living off
river.
government cheese.
Oh, government cheese is delicious. Don't fucking ever put that shit down. Best grilled cheese sandwiches ever.
Ray's just making tuna melts all night.
Oh, sounds good.
Oh, you can find him on Grindr at Big Ray Hernandez. You can find him on Twitter at Big Ray Hernandez. You can find him pretty much everywhere. Big Ray Hernandez on all social media, and catch him at the school in New York with his son, or possibly patrolling the streets of New York late at night, yelling at homeless people and MTA workers.
Or you can find me on some virgin's Twitter.
Yes, or some virgin's Twitter.
Right.
That virgin would be Rad Rob and or Brad Shepard. I don't know, one of the two. Brandon, let everybody know where they can find you at.
If you can find me everywhere at Miss Tia the Transarchist on Twitter, Twitch, and all that good stuff. And just chilling and getting it done.
Just chilling and getting it done. That is. You can put that on a T-shirt. I beat Chris Sabin. Musuki. Tell everybody where they can find you at, sir.
Oh yeah, Opinion Haver everywhere as usual. Next Level Wrestling Review Podcast with Big Ray. Impact Attack every week. You're already here. And every once in a while I might pop in for some of the other shows, so just keep your eyes peeled.
That's right.
Ooh, I got a quick thing. Vet, I have some great new sound bites for this week.
I'll be the judge of that.
You're still not this great. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me at Colin Wysong. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook,
2%.
all those places, Instagram, all those places. You can find me Tuesday each and every week at the A Show. It is the A Show with Aaron Stevens and April Hunter, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at patreon.com/the A Show, twitch.tv/the A Show, and Twitter at _the A Show. Follow us there. We're also on TikTok and Instagram. And December 23rd, we plan on having the largest Festivus gathering in all of the internet. Bring your poll, bring your grievances, bring your feats of strength. Everyone is welcome to join April, Hunter, Aaron Stevens, and myself as Big Ray is gone. He didn't say the C word, ladies and gentlemen. His phone died. Come join us December 23rd, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a Festivus like no other. Festivus like no other. You guys got anything else before we get out of here?
Well, I was going to tell Ray to remember to charge his phone, but I'll just have to leave that in his hands now.
Follow Sonic the Hedge Rat at That Virgin on Twitter. And Rad Rob runs in on Next Level. I hope, hopefully we get some fun like that on the Next Level Wrestling Review on Wednesday at 11, 12, whenever you guys decide to record. Whenever Ray gets his phone powered back on, I assume that's when they'll record. Wednesday. I miss my Kenny Omega drop. That I miss the goodbye and goodnight and the yes.
Well, now we need we need something of Moose saying, "You're a violent man," and I like that. That should be.
I need to find. I'll clip that out.
Close, yeah.
It should be. You're a violent man, Vet, and I like that. But for now, this is our show close. Thank you guys. Y'all have a great night.